Missouri Governor Jay Nixon is with us. He's in Jefferson City, the state capital. Governor, good morning.
Good morning.
We also heard the president say that when something like this happens, there is an obligation by state authorities, local authorities, police, to be open and transparent about how they are investigating the death. How is it that nearly a week after the death of an 18-year-old unarmed teenager, that the name of the police officer has not been released?
Well, a couple things. First of all, we needed to make an operational shift so we could change both the tone, the attitude, and the activities in that area, which we did last night with bringing the Highway Patrol in, shifting that organization. Had 0 arrests last night. I thought our folks did a really good job of reaching out. As far as the prosecution, I was called very early for dual investigations, one from the Justice Department, one from the locals. I think those names need to get out. They're going to be yet another step in healing, and we're hopeful that very quickly that those names do get out. But our focus last night was to, yesterday, all week, and focused on up yesterday, was to make sure that we allowed people to speak, but we kept safety.
I know you've made a change in putting Captain Ronald Johnson in charge, and that seems to have helped things last night. But for nearly a week, it's looked like a war zone. Armored vehicles, tear gas. How is that defensible? As we saw that acceleration, both of the confrontations as well as the amplitude of the force, it became obvious to me we needed a force change. That's why I brought in the Highway Patrol, put Captain Johnson in the front, and also why folks backed up last night, got into community as opposed to into MRAPs, and I think that's one of the reasons we had 0 arrests last night.
You've been criticized, though, for what some people view as a slow response. Do you think that criticism is fair?
We're focused on how we move forward here. And as we saw that acceleration, it became the dramatic action of changing the command structure was important. Having the State Highway Patrol take the lead was important. I made that decision yesterday, and we're beginning to see the benefits of it already.
Mm-hmm. There has been some criticism that police departments in the United States have become excessively militarized. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a really legitimate discussion. I mean, I was Attorney General back in the 90s when we talked about community policing and get officers in schools and relationship policing. And when you distance that with massive amounts of armor and whatnot, it makes it difficult for people to connect. And I think it intimidates them. And at this time, with this horrible death and the need for people to speak out and to have their emotions heard in a public fashion, it restricted that. And this is a good example of what can happen if there's too much armor and not enough working together.
Governor, with the State Patrol now in charge in Ferguson, how do you eventually reintroduce the local police force there?
Well, that's as we work through today and moving forward. Our goal is to get this area secure, to make sure that folks can get safely around there, that they're able to speak out, that if folks want to come and visit, they're going to be safe. As we move forward, obviously, these investigations need to accelerate so that we can get answers and justice at the end of this. I think it's going to be a complicated time, but this is, as I said before, this has raised deeper questions than just the operational pieces here or just this particular case. This scratched a wound in our communities across this state and across this country that's much deeper, and we all need to recognize that. And
Governor, the city of Ferguson is nearly 2/3 black, and yet the police force is almost entirely white. Does that need to change?
Well, I've always believed we try to do the best we can to make sure that the government agencies we're involved with reflect the people they serve. There are changing demographics there. The bottom line, I think, is all of that sort of stuff is on the table to look at. How do you do a better job as you move forward? But most importantly, we need to keep people safe, and we need to get justice while allowing people to speak out at the same time.
Governor Nixon, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.